story of the World Food Prize and Hall of Laureates continues here in this spectacular garden that's dedicated in the honor of John Ruan III and his wife Janis, who had the vision for doing this. If you can imagine, this was a parking lot before, and in fact, this is the back entrance to the World Food Prize Hall of Laureates. And when the Ruans came and looked at it, they thought this would be the perfect place to have an oasis here in the middle of downtown Des Moines. This green, lush setting with a fountain and statues of Norman Borlaug and John Ruan here to continue to tell the story of their legacy, of their vision for what the World Food Prize could be, how it could be the Nobel Prize for Food and Agriculture. And so we engaged a wonderful landscape architect from Chicago named Doug Hoerr and his team. They came, they designed this. John and Janis Ruan were involved, all of the elements. And now here, 6 years after our opening, we have the garden, its full beauty, all the plants, the flowers, and a place for contemplation, a place for celebration, a place where nature comes together with the historic restoration of the building and continues to tell that wonderful story of how the World Food Prize is inspiring great breakthrough achievements in increasing the quality, quantity, and availability of food in the world. This statue of Norman Borlaug was executed by John Collier of Dallas, Texas. John Collier has statues at Ground Zero in New York and other magnificent settings around the United States. The statue is positioned so that Borlaug is looking up to the northeast towards his home in Howard County in northeast Iowa, where he came from. His vision and triumphant look on him is about his discoveries and breakthroughs in developing miracle wheat that saved up to 1 billion lives as a result of his leadership of the Green Revolution. And so one of the key places in the garden is to honor Dr. Borlaug. This statue of John Ruan Sr. here in the garden was created by Chas Fagan, a brilliant young sculptor from North Carolina. He also is a painter. He did the wonderful portraits of Norman Borlaug and John Ruan that are in the Hall of Laureates building. And he is the go-to sculptor to create statues of Ronald Reagan. So if you go to Reagan National Airport in Washington or outside the U.S. Embassy in London, there are statues of Ronald Reagan, all done by Chas Fagan. In positioning this statue here in the garden, we wanted to have downtown Des Moines displayed behind John Ruan Sr. because downtown was his project. He led the restoration and renovation of downtown Des Moines in the 1970s and was always so proud of what he did. His Ruan building is there along with other high-rise buildings. And so just as we had Dr. Borlaug's statue facing up to his hometown of Cresco in northeast Iowa, here's John Ruan Sr. with downtown Des Moines, his hometown, displayed behind him. Another centerpiece of the garden is this world map. I like to tell visitors that world is the first name of our foundation, and so it seems so appropriate to have this display showing all the countries where we award the prize each year. And what I particularly like is when we have international visitors come and they'll run and stand on the continent or the country where they're from. So we had African visitors and they're here standing in Africa, and Chinese visitors were there. We need to get a few more Australian visitors so they stand on Australia. And of course, South America, North America. This is the world Norman Borlaug dealt with. This is the world that John Ruan wanted to inspire breakthrough achievements in order to feed it. This is the world that will have 9 to 10 billion people who have to be fed in just 30 years. And this is meant to be that further inspiration for those achievements that will be necessary to do that.